Far More Than We Think, Making Sense of Spirituality by Angelo. Chapter 8, The Cycle of the Mind. We've covered a fair amount of ground in the last few chapters, so let's pause here to reflect on the emerging picture. The cycle of the mind strongly affects our experience of life, and we have the ability to make changes if we choose to. The chapter titles capture the key points, so we can recap as we go. Chapter 1, Food for Thought. There have been many wise words written over the years, and often the meanings are deeper than they first appear. Chapter 2, In the Beginning. We are far more than we think. Our thoughts and feelings are part of the story, but there's a lot more to it than that. It's only when we quiet our minds that wisdom emerges. Chapter 3, Energy Matters. Energy and matter are different forms of the same thing. Physical matter is 99.9999% empty space, so therefore we have to concede that all is not as it seems. We experience physical reality, but in truth, everything is underpinned by universal energy. This underlying reality is being increasingly explored and confirmed by science. Chapter 4, Out of My Mind at Last. As well as body and mind, we exist as pure energy, also known as spirit. A spiritual awakening is simply a realization that this is the case. The spiritual self can become the observer of the ego self, and this opens the door to a completely different perspective on life. Chapter 5, We Are All One. Our spirit beings are connected to all that is, both physical and non-physical. We exist as individuals and as part of the whole at the same time. The common source is the universal energy of life, and this connects us all. Conflict is self-defeating because we harm ourselves too. Being generous to others is self-rewarding because we ultimately give to ourselves. Spirituality is far from being a new idea, but we've lost sight of the ancient wisdom that's still all around us. Letting go of ego is the path that leads to the joy of spirituality. Chapter 6, Ego, Ergo, Ego. Our egos are powerfully self-reinforcing and keep us from seeing the light of our own spirit. The sin of pursuing happiness through our individual egos is a mistake to learn from, rather than a crime to be punished. Metamorphosis is possible, but we will only see it when we believe it. Growth will come only when we become willing to allow it to begin. And Chapter 7, Perception is Reality. We can choose a different reality by changing our perspective on life. All we need to do is to become more consciously aware of our own spirituality. The resultant enlarged cycle of the mind will then bring about an upward spiral of growth. It's not difficult, but it does require a willingness to take a broader perspective. When our thinking changes, so too will our whole experience of living. Once we reach first base, we become aware of the existence of spirit and also how our own ego minds have kept this truth hidden from us. We see that we have freedom of choice to take a broader perspective, and how a change in thinking could lead us to a deeper understanding and a more joyful experience of life. The next section describes how my understanding and thinking has gradually evolved as a result of this embryonic awakening.